as a doornail. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come from the story I am going to relate. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. How could it be otherwise? Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole friend, and sole mourner. And even Scrooge was not so dreadfully cut up by the sad event, but that he was an excellent man of business on the very day of the funeral. Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood years afterwards above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley. Sometimes people knew to the business called Scrooge, and sometimes Marley. But he answered to both names. It was all the same to him. Oh, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner.
Hard and sharp as flint, jagged, cold down to his bones, frozen. No one breath would ever warm him. Pelting rain would not reform him. No earthquake that ever blew was bitterer than he. Never as the time distant, seldom as to die secret. Beggars never dared go near him. Children taught that they should fear him. Even blind men's dogs would run from Scrooge's evil eye.
But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, edging his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance. Once upon a time, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, and the fall came pouring in every chink and keyhole.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
It was Scrooge's nephew who came upon him so quickly that this was the first indication he had of his approach.
Bah! Humbug!
Uncle,
Nephew!
Christmas a humbug? You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. To what do I owe this Yuletide calling? Storming in my office I found rather appalling. Shouting at me, Merry, Merry this and Merry that. Do you think I care if your old goose is getting fat? What right do you have to be so cheerful? I'll give your cheer a bitter earful. I don't need a poor man's sermon. I have wealth, so I determine you can keep your Christmas. I'll keep mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone then. Much good it may do you, much good it has ever done you.
Every day but Christmas, we are simple men and women, bound on our own journey, walking silently past. Then along comes Christmas, suddenly we see each other, merciful and conscious, we stop walking so fast. Christmas is good, Christmas is pure.
that winter days grow colder. Christmas gets you nothing but another day older. Oh, what a world of fools I live in. I will pray that you're forgiven. You can keep your Christmas. I'll keep mine.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends? Christmas brings us bounty. Riches come in children's laughter. Profits come in simple joys of singing Noel. What does Christmas give me? Not a scrap of gold or silver, nothing in my pocket, but it served me quite well. Christmas is kind, Christmas is dear, Christmas is the light at the end of the year.
You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
Not if it were the last Christmas on Earth.
But why? Why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Because you fell in love. Ah, good afternoon.
I am sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. I've come here to invite you to our Christmas dinner, and I will continue to invite you year after year. I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon! You can keep your Christmas. I'll keep mine.
His nephew left the room without an angry word. As he went out, two portly gentlemen came in seeking donations for the poor. They were pleasant to behold and now stood in Scrooge's office with books and papers in their hands.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Do I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. Died 7 years ago this very night.
Our condolences for your partner. At this festive season, thousands still go cold and hungry. There is no good reason they should suffer so. While we are regaling, feasting with abundant measure, many more are ailing with no place to go. Time for being grateful, time for having introspection. We'll serve up a plateful of sustenance and cheer. Every soul's a treasure, so we're taking this collection home to bring some pleasure. One day of the year.
Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? These institutions I help to support.
Many can't go to those places. Many would rather die.
Spare me than your dissertation. Maybe it's preordination. Let them reach their ultimation. Help decrease the surplus population.
So I'll put you down for
Nothing.
You wish to be left anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Not one more believer dare come near me. Every fool who's shouting Merry Christmas now hear me. If I had my way, you'd all be cooked in your own tart. Then I'd drive a stake of Christmas holly through your heart. What right do you have to be so cheerful? I'll give your cheer a bitter earful. There is not one soul alive who'll change me. It's how I survive. So you can keep your Christmas. I'll keep mine. You can keep your Christmas. You can keep your bloody Christmas. You can keep your Christmas. I'll keep mine. Bah humbug!
At last, the hour of shutting up the counting house had arrived. Reluctantly, Scrooge conveyed this information to his clerk, one Bob Cratchit, who instantly snuffed out his candle and put on his hat.
You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
It's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Be here all the earlier next morning.
Yes, of course, Mr. Scrooge. And a Merry Christmas to you.
Humbug.
And with that, Cratchit ran out with the ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he had no coat, went down a slide with a group of boys 20 times in honor of Christmas Eve, and then ran home as hard as he could. Scrooge walked out with a growl. The fog and dark had thickened with the night, and the cold became intense.
Piercing, biting cold, freezing. Fog as thick as mud, darkness. Every night the same old dinner, same old tavern, same old sinner. Scrooge denies his banker's book and plodded home to bed.
Scrooge lived in a gloomy suite of rooms that belonged to his deceased partner. There was nothing particular about the old building, nothing particular about the knocker on the door. So then, let any man explain to me, if he can, how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock of the door, saw not a knocker but Marley's face.
Marley's face, eyes wide open yet perfectly still. Marley's face, gave old Scrooge's bones a chill.
And as Scrooge looked again, it was gone, and the knocker in its usual place.
Humbug still. I won't believe it.
Scrooge was not a man to be frightened, so he continued into the house.
What's that noise? What's that sound? What's this feeling of terrible dread? Nothing strange to be found, so I fear what lies ahead.
No one in the parlor, no one under the bed. When Scrooge was quite satisfied he was alone, he closed the door and locked himself in.
Marley's face, felt his president swinging its bell. Can't forget, can't erase, then the ringing of the bell.
As Scrooge's eyes fell on an old bell in the corner of the room, he watched in inexplicable dread as it started to ring. Next came a loud clanking noise as if someone were dragging heavy chains across the floor. Then the cellar door flew open and the sound became louder and louder. Up the stairs until there it was! Marley's ghost!
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
It was the very same Marley that he was 7 years ago, except he wore a long chain wound around him like a tail, made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses, all wrought in steel.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
Why do you doubt your senses?
I don't know that anything could affect them. Perhaps I ate a bad potato or a bit of bad beef. There's more of gravy than of grave about you.
To Scrooge's horror, the spirit unwrapped the bandage from his head, and his lower jaw dropped down upon his chest.
Do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must. But why do you trouble me, Jacob? Why do spirits walk the earth?
It is required of every man that his spirit should walk among his fellow men. And if his spirit does not go forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
You were a worldly man, Jacob. You traveled far and wide.
My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. My spirit never rolled beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole. And now weary journeys lie before me, forever a witness to the happiness I chose not to share.
Those chains, they must be 40 fathoms long.
You know the weight and length of the iron coil you bear yourself. You labor on it every day, and every day it grows longer!
Scrooge glanced about him on the floor in the expectations of finding himself surrounded by some 50 or 60 fathoms of iron cable, but he saw nothing.
Oh, Jacob, tell me more. Speak comfort to me.
I have none to give. I wear these chains that I forged in my life, these heavy coils that weigh me down. Each iron link is an ocean of remorse, so I sink, yes I sink, but cannot drown. I can never rest, I can never stay. I must wander through the world. I am doomed and iron bound. I am doomed to be this way. And it's all because of the man I was. Now it's too late and I wear these chains. I wear these chains. This time of year was the time I'd suffer most. Oh, how I'd feast on sin and greed, walking through crowds with my fine eyes looking down. Dare I look at those in need. We were partners in our life, we were partners in our crime. We shared profits, we shared riches, we shared sin. All the souls we could have helped, all the good we could have done. Can you tell me why? Can you justify as you hear me cry? I wear these chains. I wear these chains.
But you were always a good man of business.
Business! Mankind was my business. Charity was my business. Mercy, forbearance were all my business. Kindness was my business. Sympathy was my business. Work is just a means to survive, not what keeps a man alive. Time's up, but the question remains, do you wanna wear these chains? Are you gonna wear these chains?
Jacob,
Hear me, Ebenezer. My time is nearly gone. Yet there's a hope and chance of escaping my fate. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I think I'd rather not.
Silence! Without them, you cannot hope to escape my fate. Expect the first tomorrow night when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once, Jacob, and have it over with?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. I will be gone, but for your own sake, remember what has passed between us. I can never rest. I can never stay. I must wander through the world. I had chances to atone. Now
ghost walked backwards from him, and at every step the window raised itself a little, so that when the specter reached it, it was wide open. Scrooge could hear incoherent sounds of lamentation and regret coming from outside, wailings inexpressibly sorrowful and self-accusatory. After listening for a moment, Marley's ghost joined in the mournful dirge and floated out upon the bleak, dark night. Scrooge followed to the window, and what he saw frightened him to his core. Their misery was clearly that they sought to interfere for good in human matters and had lost the power forever. Scrooge tried to say humbug, but stopped at the first syllable, and from the emotion he had undergone, went straight to bed and fell asleep on the instant. Scrooge awoke to the chimes of a neighboring church. As he listened for the hour, he thought and thought on what had happened. Was it a dream or not? Suddenly he remembered that the ghost had warned him of a visitation when the bell tolled 1.
1:15. 1:30. 1/4 to it. The hour itself. And nothing else. Humbug.
Expectations running high, light and silence fill the sky. Something stirring up attention in the air. Hope regrets that cannot hide. Future, present, past collide. All you know you must surrender and beware.
Suddenly light flashed up in the room, and the curtains of his bed were drawn open, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
The strange figure was like a child, yet not like a child, as like an old man. He wore a tunic of the purest white and held in his hand a branch of fresh green holly. But the strangest thing about him was that from the crown of his head there sprung a bright, clear jet of light by which all this was visible.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past,
Long past.
your past. I am the ghost of Christmas past. Come take my hand, we've much to see. Guide by my light to truth at last. Rise and walk with me. When did the laughter turn to lies? Who is the man you've grown to be? Where is the child who has your eyes? Rise and walk with me. All of your senses awaken. All of your senses will take in thousands of thoughts, bountiful joy, infinite hopes. When you were alone, what you will see is lost in time. Only the brave can turn the key. Come now before the church bells chime. Rise and walk with me.
As the spirit touched Scrooge's hand, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road leading to a schoolhouse of dull red brick with an old bell hanging on the roof.
Oh, good heaven. I was bred in this place. Why, this was my boarding school, and that was my desk. And there is...
A solitary child, alone again.
And all the other boys had gone home for the jolly holidays.
Old Scrooge stared at his younger self, seated at a desk, a stack of books before him, intent upon reading, and wept to see his poor forgotten self as he used to be.
If Robinson Crusoe could last 28 years on an island, surely I can last 8 days at school. Father might have left me here by myself, but I am certainly not alone. Why, I've got plenty of company. Why, I've got you, Robin, and Ali Baba, of course I'll not forget you, and the Sultan's groom. Where is he anyway? Can you believe he married the princess? I won't feel sorry for myself for 1 minute more. It's a good thing I don't have to go home and do all those foolish Christmas things. Humbug! Why, I'm better off, aren't I? No long journey through the snow, no dumb dance or mistletoe. On our own to come and go, we're better off alone. No plum pudding, no rum cake, gives me one big bellyache. No more goose for goose's sake, we're better off alone. Better off here where I'm needed, big adventures are in store. All on my own, I've succeeded, future's bright, and Father's right, I don't need anyone anymore. It's Christmas anyway, all a humbug, so I say. You can keep your stupid day, I'm better off, I'm better off, I'm better off alone. I'm better off, I'm better off, I'm better off alone.
The schoolhouse door flew open, and a young girl younger than Scrooge came in and threw her delicate arms around his neck and kissed him repeatedly. I have come to bring you home, dear brother, said the girl. Bring you home, home, home.
Home, little Fan?
Yes, home for good and all, she exclaimed. Oh, home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be that I was not afraid once more to ask him if you could come home. And he said yes and sent me to get you. And you are never to come back here. But first, we are to be together all Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world.
You are quite a woman, little Fan. Together all the Christmas long, nothing could make me happier. Better off home, off we go now, Fan. You must be heaven sent. Dashing along through the snow, now by your side I can confide.
I'm safe at last and truly content. Always a delicate creature whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
She died a woman, and had, I think, children.
One child.
True, your nephew.
Yes. Such a cruel, cruel world, this place. So much beauty in that face. Better off in God's embrace. You're better off, sweet Fan. This night is done, let me see the rising sun.
Come, the night has just begun. Rise and walk with me.
The school melted away, and now they were in a busy thoroughfare of the city. It was Christmas time again. But it was evening, and the streets were all lit up. The ghost stopped by a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it.
No, why, I was apprenticed here.
They went in, and at first sight of an old gentleman in a Welsh wig, Scrooge cried out excitedly,
Why, it's old Fezziwig! Oh, it's Fezziwig alive again!
As the bell sounded the hour of 7, old Fezziwig laid down his pen and called out in his jovial voice, Yo-ho there, Ebenezer! No more work tonight! Christmas Eve, Ebenezer! Christmas Eve! Let's have the shutters up! Clear away, my boy! Let's have lots of room here! Hilly-o, cheer up! Everything was cleared away in an instant, and the office transformed into a ballroom, bright and festive as you can imagine. In came a fiddler with a music book, who climbed on top of the desk and made an orchestra of it. In came one Mrs. Fezziwig, followed by 3 young Miss Fezziwigs, followed by 6 young men whose hearts stayed broken. In came all the rest of the men and women employed in the business, the housemaid, the cook, and the boy from over the way.
Christmas is upon us. Christmas. Christmas is upon us. Christmas. Christmas is upon us. Christmas. Christmas is upon us. Christmas.
There was cake and cold roast and mince pies and plenty of beer, and there was dance with Fezziwig and his misleading and not to be caught. On this night, no one was a match for dear old Fezziwig.
Dance your Christmas, sing your cheer, ring through moonlight halls with a barrel of beer for breakfast, pie at noon, love for dinner. Oh, someone is playing my tune. Your fiddle, blow your horn, make a little noise, calling out my name. Let your bedtime swing till morn. Someone says time stops right at the height of the dance. Your Christmas world will die. Sing till midnight. Oh, come on, the pudding pie, come on, the pudding pie, come on, the pudding pie. Dance your Christmas, sing your cheer, ring through moonlight halls with a barrel of beer for breakfast, pie at noon, love for dinner. Oh, someone is playing my tune. Your fiddle, blow your horn, make a little noise, calling out my name. Let your bedtime swing till morn. Someone says time stops right at the height of the dance. Your Christmas world will die. Sing till midnight. Oh, come on, the pudding pie, come on, the pudding pie, come on, the pudding pie.
Scrooge was so caught up in the whole scene that he'd almost forgotten about the ghost of Christmas past until he spoke and brought him back to consciousness.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
Why is it not? He has spent only a few pounds of his money, 3 or 4 on the whole evening. Is that so much that he deserves such praise?
It isn't that spirit. Why, he had the power to render us happy or unhappy. But the happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
What is the matter?
Nothing particular. I should just like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now, that's all.
My time grows short. We must leave here.
Oh, Just one more dance, please. Spirit, just this last one!
Mr. Fezziwig's ball vanished into thin air, and before Scrooge could open his mouth to ask the spirit what was to come next, he once again saw his younger self before him. He was older now, a man in the prime of his life. He was not alone, but sat by the side of a fair young girl with tears in her eyes.
It's my bell. Oh, Spirit, why do you delight to torture me?
You fear the world too much.
What did you say?
You fear the world too much. Isn't that why you left her?
She left me. She said I had changed, that I was a different man from when we were first engaged. She said that
My pursuit of wealth consumes me. What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, I am not changed toward you, am I?
Aren't you? I won't keep you from your passion. I won't keep you from your dream. Though I may not understand you, and as cold as it may seem, I won't steal you of your freedom. I won't stand here saying no. I can see your heart has chosen, so it's time I let it go. I won't keep you anymore. As our promise is an old one, made when we were young and free, I release you from your contract, as we're just not meant to be. For you chose another offer, and our love has now been sold. Did you make a greater profit when you traded me for gold? I won't keep you anymore. Would you seek me out today?
Would I seek you out today?
One soul dowerless and
One soul dowerless and poor.
Since we let it slip away, it's clear that this is not the kind of love worth fighting for.
Have I ever sought your release?
In words, no, but in your nature, in your hopes, in your spirit. When I leave you, please remember that our love was brief but real. It may pain you for a moment, but then time will quickly heal. And my wish for you this evening, if I had one wish to give, how I hope you will be happy in the life you've chosen to live.
I won't keep you, honey.
I won't keep you any
How I took her love in vain, adding links upon my chain, would have caused her so much pain. She's better off alone. Spirit, show me no more.
I told you, these are the shadows of things that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me.
The spirit's light was burning high and bright, and Scrooge had a sudden urge to extinguish it. But overcome by an irresistible drowsiness, suddenly he found himself back in his own bed. He sank into a deep sleep. Scrooge was awakened not by a bell, but instead by a blaze of bright light, which was more alarming than a dozen ghosts, for he knew not what it meant. After a terrifying 15 minutes of nothing but sitting alone in a pool of light, Scrooge decided to follow the source of the light into the next room. It was his own room. There was no doubt about that, but it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were all hung with living green that looked a perfect grove, and heaped up on the floor to form a kind of a throne was the most bountiful feast one had ever seen.
Descending, turkeys that have won acclaim, feast your eyes. See with a punch with sumptuous steam, walking through the air of fragrant dreams, feast your eyes. Hot jelly baskets of chestnuts roasting, ripe running bears when the juice is boasting, feast your eyes, feast your eyes. For a collection of sweet confection, towering cakes of road perfection, plum pudding pies reaching up to the skies, crying, feast your eyes, feast your eyes, feast your
I am the ghost of Christmas present. All that I am is what you see. Lavish, intriguing, warm and pleasant. Rise and walk with me.
Scrooge obeyed this jolly giant and entered the room. Upon closer inspection, he wore a simple green robe bordered with white fur. His feet were bare, and on his head he wore a holly wreath set with shining icicles.
You've never seen the likes of me before.
Never.
Have you never walked forth with my elder brothers, born in these later years?
I'm afraid I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800.
Tremendous family to provide for.
Come, my time here is brief.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went last night on compulsion and learned quite a lesson tonight. If you have lessons to teach me, let me profit by it.
Oh, yes, you shall profit. Off to the streets on Christmas morning. Much to be done and much to see. Day has arrived without a warning. Rise and walk with me.
the feast vanished instantly, and so did the room and the hour of night, and they stood in the streets on Christmas morning. People were flocking through the streets in their best clothes, carrying their dinners to the baker's shops. Scrooge stood beside the ghost in the baker's doorway and watched in amazement as the ghost sprinkled incense on their dinner from his torch. It was a very uncommon kind of torch, for once or twice, when there were angry words between dinner carriers who had jostled each other, he shed a few drops of water on them, and their good humor was instantly restored, and they could be heard saying, "It's a shame to quarrel on Christmas Day." And so it was. So it was. Scrooge followed the spirit closely, and they continued through town and straight to Bob Cratchit's house. Standing on the threshold of the door, the spirit smiled and paused to bless the meager dwelling with the sprinkling of his torch.
Is there a particular flavor in what you sprinkle from your torch?
There is my own.
Would it apply to any kind of dinner on this day?
To any kind of dinner, but to a poor one most.
Why to a poor one most?
Because it needs it the most.
Inside, the Cratchits were all busily getting ready for Christmas dinner. Mrs. Cratchit was making the gravy. Master Peter mashed the potatoes with incredible vigor. Miss Belinda sweetened up the applesauce. Martha dusted the hot plates, and the two youngest Cratchits set chairs for everybody. And Tiny Tim, the smallest Cratchit in size, but certainly not in heart, stood perched on his crutch next to his father, watching this wonderful dance take place.
There never was such a gravy, there never was such a goose. There never was such anticipation just to taste the juice. There never were such potatoes, in harmony they hiss. There never was such a Christmas as this. Martha, straighten that tablecloth. Belinda, come help Tiny Tim get the candles. And Peter, don't forget to throw the chestnuts on the fire. There never was such a table, all fitted in red and green, with everything set so perfectly you might invite the Queen. No wrinkle upon a napkin, no fork or spoon amiss. And there never was such a Christmas as this. Oh, Tiny Tim, Mother's pudding is almost ready. Let's hope that this is the year. I don't think her heart will take it if it doesn't turn out. It's not just any pudding after all, it's the Christmas pudding.
What if it turns out bitter? Or what if it's much too tart? What if it's thick and lumpy? Or what if it falls apart? Oh, heaven forbid! Why did she stumble down in the goal? Broken and crumbled. Someone to see it or something to break it. Another the feel for a heart cannot take it. It's done, it's here. I pray that this will be the year.
There never was such a pudding, there never was such a sight, with nothing to do but dig right in and savor every bite. There never was such a family to make such Christmas bliss. There never was such a Christmas as this. There never was such a Christmas. Let us pray.
And Cratchit prayed. He prayed that Mother's pudding was as good as it looked. And he prayed that Peter would find a job soon. And he prayed that Martha and Belinda would finish their needlework sometime before the new year. And then Tiny Tim prayed.
I pray that everyone saw me in church today, because I am a cripple, and that might be pleasant to them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. God bless us, everyone. God bless the rich, whose feast is endless. God bless the poor, whose feast is none. God bless the boy who sings this blessing. God bless us,
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No, kind Spirit, say he will be spared.
Will you decide what men shall live, what men shall die? It may be in the sight of heaven you are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child. Come, we have little time. My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
In an instant, they were transported once more. They now stood not in the Cratchit house or in the streets, but in an empty, open place. One might say in the middle of nowhere.
Forgive me for asking this, but who are those children clinging to your side?
Yes, Ebenezer. Look down here.
Scrooge looked down, and from behind the foldings of the Spirit's robe came two children. They knelt down at the Spirit's feet and clung to his robe. They were wretched, frightful, and miserable.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's. This boy is ignorance. This girl is want. Beware them both. But most of all, beware this boy, for he has doom written on his brow.
Have they no refuge, no resources?
Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? These institutions I help to support.
But not for the children. You don't mean... What kind of man...
Spare me then your dissertation. Maybe it's preordination. Let them reach their ultimation. Help decrease the surplus population.
Spirit, your message is clear. Please, take me home. I cannot bear to look at them.
Are you such a coward you can't bear to look?
No, Spirit, of course I can look. They're fine children.
Can you turn them away like you're closing a book?
Turn them away. I'm not turning them away. I'm simply...
If they're out of your sight, are they out of your mind?
I don't know anything about them. Surely there's someone who looks
Will you
after...
tend to your gold while you leave them behind? Don't turn away. Don't shield your eyes. Face what's to come. Look in their eyes. If you dare, beware.
Those are not my children. I am not responsible for them.
We are all responsible for them. See the girl, she is once and she wants just like you.
See the girl, she is ragged, scowling, pale.
Never stopped, never cared, never loved, never
wanted to know her somber tale.
And the boy, he is ignorance branded with doom.
And the boy, he is monstrous, fixed and high.
If you choose not to look, then you only presume.
I cannot look, I cannot. If I
turn
don't
away.
look, then I
Don't
won't have to
shield your
face the
eyes.
fear. Won't feel
what's
the
to come.
pain when I
Look in their eyes.
and
If you
see what I've done, what I've lost, what I've been.
beware.
Spirit, I see now what I have done, what I've been. I I am ignorance, I am want, but I can change, Spirit. Please remove me from this place. I cannot bear it anymore.
My time here is nearly done, but yours is not. Before the last stroke of midnight, you will be haunted by the third and final ghost. Beware this ghost, for it brings the